Hello, hello, Titans. I am Matt Sylvester, the general manager and host of this broadcast. You're listening to TitanRadio.org. We have the president of the university, Fram, with us.
Hey, how are you?
Doing good. It's nice to have you here. This has been something that Titan Radio, Titan Communications, and the comm department have been trying to get together for a while, so I'm really happy that you're here.
Yeah, it's been something I've been wanting to do, too. I love listening to Titan Radio, and I love music, so this is perfect for me.
All right, so basically what we're planning on doing here today is just listen to some of the president's favorite music. I kind of want to get to know a little bit more about how he came to like this music, just what type of music he listens to during the day. We talked a little bit before, but you had a lot of good stories, so I'd like to share some of those on air if we could. But we'll start with some music. So the first song that I have on the playlist that you gave me was Bad Company by Bad Company off of Bad Company. So does that song have any special meaning for you? Is it just a song you love, or?
So I first heard this song my freshman year of high school as I was going to my locker to get my books to go to class at the end of the lunch period. They would have play music during lunch, and I heard this song and I went, "What the heck?" And I loved it. Went home and bought the album, and it's been one of my favorites ever since.
That's a great story. Well, yeah, let's start there then.
That's why they call me Bad Company, and I can deny.
So me and Fran were just talking about how music takes you to a certain place, and he said that Bad Company took him back to high school.
Sure.
Yeah. He was talking about, too, skiing and just having certain playlists and stuff, and it's just funny how location and music are really just always intertwined, like you said. Do you have anything with our next song, the Beatles? I mean, you said you're a huge Beatles fan. So what is this, back in the USSR?
So what you have to understand is I was born in England.
Oh, okay.
And I lived there until I was 5 years old. We moved here in '66 when I was 5 years old. So my pictures of when I'm a kid, I had a Beatles haircut. And the Beatles were huge in the early '60s in London, which is where we lived. And so for me, it's sort of, I have to love the Beatles, but I always have. And I followed each of them after the Beatles broke up. And I'm a huge George Harrison fan and John Lennon fan as well. Amazing memories that come with that. You know, I think of that. I know this probably sounds really dumb, but I think of in the Harry Potter movies where Dumbledore's like pulling the memories out of your head.
Gotcha.
That's exactly what I feel like about music. Music just goes, you listen to it, a song, and flash, it comes on where you were and what you were doing.
So, and feel free if this is a little bit on the spot, but with Cal State Fullerton, are there songs you kind of associate with Cal State Fullerton or certain artists or anything like that? Like for me, I kind of think of No Doubt a little bit just because they had that performance here. Gwen Stefani went here for a little bit, I think. So do you have anything that reminds you of Cal State Fullerton? Or?
I will after tonight. Okay.
I like that answer. Well, let's listen to Back in the USSR by the Beatles. This is off their White album, I believe.
Yeah.
So let's tune in.
How can I try to explain? When I do, he turns away again. It's always been the same.
Welcome back. That was Father and Son by CSUF or Cat Stevens. Off Tea for the Tillerman, which is a record I actually found at a vinyl shop just down the street for about $2 last year. So I always like seeing that album. Makes me happy that I got that deal. So we're going to take a little break from music and just talk to Fram just about what music means to him, because he was telling me a great story about his family before. So I'll pass it along to him and just tell everyone kind of what you were telling me before about music and your family and everything.
So I think I started by saying there are only a couple of escapes that I have, reading fiction, listening to music, and hanging out with my dogs, playing with my dogs. Those are my three biggies that I use all the time. So music for me, for as long as I can remember, has been a big part of my life. When we were really young, my aunts and uncles, I come from a big family. My mom and dad have lots of brothers and sisters. We'd all sit around at, anytime we were at my grandparents' house, everybody would come and we'd all sing. first we'd listen to records. There was a guy named Mitch Miller who had albums, and he would have the words with his albums, and that was a big thing back then. And we'd sing all these old songs like Down by the Old Mill Stream and things like that. And then my uncles played the guitar and the organ, and we'd all sing, and that's how I learned to harmonize. That, and then we would go camping and singing, and so I grew up. And then my best friend in the world has an amazing voice. We'd spend the night in high school just staying up all night singing songs. I love it. It's keeps you grounded, gives you peace, gives you hope. Yeah.
Going back to what you said about your 3 kind of escapes, just because we kind of talked about it earlier. Can you talk about your dogs a little bit? Because I love the story about your dogs.
Well, I've always had big dogs. Right now we have a Great Dane. He's 175 pounds, and a Saint Bernard. He's 175 pounds. We also have a what we call our small dog. She's probably a Shepherd Pit mix. She's my son's dog. He left her for the weekend about 6 months ago, and he has never come to pick her up. And she's about 50 or 60 pounds, but she's the little one.
Little, yeah. I have beagles, so they're all, your dogs could just step on one of my dogs. I'm pretty sure they're all like 30 pounds.
I love just pushing them around and hanging, and you can lay on them. They lay on you. They lean on you. They sit on you. The Great Dane jumps in the bed with us, which is fun. Yeah, they're great. The unconditional love.
Totally.
Yeah.
So let's go back to your playlist a little bit. You have Dean Martin up next, which a lot of these artists that you provided me with were a lot of classic rock. Dean Martin, almost kind of a crooner, or whatever the term would be. So why'd you throw that one in there?
So I grew up listening. My parents listened to Dino and Frank Sinatra and Mel Torme and Perry Como and that kind of thing. And for me, Dean was the one that I always thought was the best.
Okay.
And Julie loves him too. And so we love to listen to, Dean Martin's greatest. For me, he sings like honey. It's just so smooth. Yeah.
Christmas albums too.
Oh,
Dean
yeah.
Dean Martin. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I feel like that generation's Christmas albums are just always top notch.
Absolutely, they're great. Yeah.
So this is Sway by Dean Martin. So let's listen in.
Only you have the magic technique. When we sway, I grow weak. I can hear the sound
and red rosy apples in summer. For his haymaking, hey mom.
That was Captain Fantastic and the Brown Dirt Cowboy, a song I had never heard before today, but I like it. So thank you. You're sharing music with me now, so cool. I appreciate it. I was just telling, I'm not super familiar with Elton John, so the more knowledge, the better, really.
Yeah, I grew up listening to him, and Yellow Brick Road was the first album I ever got, double album, and there's so many amazing songs on that. And then after I started listening to everything that he ever did, and as I was telling you and during the break, my uncle brought me this album from England before it had been released in the United States, which was a huge deal. So all my friends were over at the house listening to this over and over again before it ever came. So it was really cool.
Mm-hmm. So let's see. Do you have a certain preference of what you want to play next, or just keep the playlist going?
Keep it going, yeah, whatever you want.
Let's jump to, along with other songs I haven't heard before, Roll With the Changes by REO Speedwagon, another band I'm not super familiar with, to be honest. I saw them actually last year with Styx, but it was a great show, but I just didn't know much.
So I had never heard REO Speedwagon until my freshman year of college.
Okay.
And my roommate loved REO Speedwagon. And one of his friends, he was from Stockton, one of his friends came down from Stockton one weekend, and we started playing this song. We were driving around. He had a Olds Cutlass, an old car, and this song, I was in the front seat in the passenger seat, and I was drumming on the dashboard so hard that I split the dashboard.
Wow.
And so I will never forget the song. He will never forget this song, and I will never forget it. But it's one of my favorite songs. I love it.
Did he understand that the song you just love the song that much?
He was so cool. He's like, I can't believe you did that. That's so awesome.
Well, that's a funny story. You really do have locations with all this music. I feel like I need to now go rethink my playlist and think about what
why you like the music.
Why
right?
I like them. Yeah, like I can think of there's so many artists that remind me of like winter, and like I think I'm more seasonal in that way. Like I have some summer artists and some winter artists. I don't know if you're the same way too, but almost like kind of going up to the mountains or going to the beach, kind of like that. One's for this and one's for that. Like I wouldn't play Beach Boys up in the mountains probably for me.
I get you.
But
it's kind of how I set times in my life as well. I will, if you ask me about some time in my life, I will be able to tell you the music I was listening to.
Gotcha.
Or if I hear music, I think about that part of my life.
That makes sense. Yeah, and with Spotify too, which is a service that I know I use. I think you said you use too.
Yep.
They kind of organize it too, where they can show you what you're listening to by year too, which I've really loved.
So fun.
I know it's such a great feature.
Yeah.
So let's play. I just got off topic. Let's talk. Let's play this REO Speedwagon song. This is "Roll with the Changes" by REO. Fram was just telling me about a story of him in Europe listening to Styx, and I know we mentioned Styx before the break, so I think we're going to throw in a song, Rock and Roll Feeling, going on the same theme. I'm not familiar with this song, again.
Yeah, it's just a great song that off of one of their albums, and as I said, we were in Munich getting off, bumming through Europe and getting off the train at 3 a.m, and we had a boombox, and we turned it up full blast, and it was raining, and we were walking in the rain with our backpacks listening to Styx, and I think this was one of the songs we listened to.
I'd like to know who made that boombox, that it's waterproof, because I would invest in that. I mean, maybe they're not around anymore.
It was so silly. It was huge, man. And we put it in our backpack. It took up half the backpack.
I know. I think that's so funny, because when you think backpacking, you're thinking only essentials. But I mean, I guess that's essential.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So, all right. So this is "Rock and Roll Feeling" by Styx. We were so busy talking, I didn't even get a plan for up next. So let's just go down the playlist. Okay, this is one I knew when you sent me the playlist I had to play. I Won't Back Down by Tom Petty. Yeah. I mean, Tom Petty, amazing. Just, I mean, when he unfortunately passed away last year, it was like it felt like a death in the family for my household, at least. I mean, he definitely grew up like we grew up with him.
Damn the Torpedoes, man. When that album came out, I was in college, and it felt revolutionary when it came out. It was so new and different. And then I listened to everything he ever did after that. And we were talking about Traveling Wilburys when he hooked up with those guys. He's just, I told you, I think I've seen him in concert more times than any other artist.
Yeah. And especially, I mean, like we were talking about, these artists they're getting old, so you really have to take those opportunities when you can to see them, because you just don't know when they're going to stop touring, or if something unfortunate is going to happen, like with Bowie or
except
with
the Stones.
Petty.
The Stones just keep coming back over and over.
They're zombies.
Great to see, man. Okay, I got a theory about Mick Jagger, by the way.
Okay, I'd love to hear it, because that's coming up later. So
my theory about Mick Jagger is that he's bald. Because I go and I see him in concert, and he is freaking amazing. He sweats and he plays, but his hair never gets wet. So
that's a good theory.
I think it's a good theory.
Yeah. Have you looked online? Has anyone supported it yet?
There's nothing. It's just my own.
I think you need maybe an editorial in Daily Titan about that or something, or not an op-ed or something. That's pretty funny. I just think
random. It was totally random.
Yeah, I think with Mick Jagger and the Rolling Stones, I just think I don't even know. I think they might be robots. Have you ever heard that about Slash? That one like South Park episode that there is no Slash. He's just a bunch of parents dressing up as Slash.
But the Stones are just so incredible. They just keep going, and they play such great music.
Yeah,
they're really good. I really love them.
I never thought, was that argument ever popular in your friend circle about Stones versus Beatles? Because I never really got that.
When I was younger, I was a Beatles person, and you kind of like hated the Stones because of that.
Really?
But then one of my buddies, when I started working at my law firm, he could do the best Mick Jagger imitation you've ever seen, and then he started taking me to Stones concerts, and from then on, it was just like full throttle.
I just think their sounds are so different. I wonder why people compare them, just because they're so big at the same time, I guess. Okay.
Yeah. The Stones were the bad boys.
Yeah. And the Beatles were more clean cut for a few years.
For a while.
Yeah. They got a little edgy, but let's listen to Tom Petty's "I Won't Back Down," a personal favorite of mine and clearly of Fram's too. So let's tune in. dialing back for a moment, I just want to say thank you to all the Titans and Titan family that's tuning in today, from Titan Radio and from Fram too. I'm sure we're happy that you guys are listening. This has been so much fun for me. So we have about 10 minutes left of the broadcast, so got a couple more songs. Going to talk a little bit more, but this has been great. You're welcome anytime, like I said.
Thank you.
We love having you down here.
I said it, man. When do I get a chance to listen to music for an hour? It's so awesome.
It's nice just to isolate yourself a little bit. Yeah, that's why we all love doing shows, because it kind of just separates you and it forces you to just sit and listen to the music. So
good. And
tell everyone else how much you love the music too, which is great.
Absolutely.
So let's move to Fleetwood Mac, which we were just talking about, Rumors. I mean, just a crazy story with that album, just all the love triangles, if you can even call it just a triangle. I think there's more than 3 involved, but we were talking about how Fleetwood Mac is still touring even though Lindsay quit the band and is doing solo stuff, and I think we're in agreement that it's not really worth it to see it without Lindsay.
So when I told you earlier, when I first got my car, you had to decide whether you're going to get 8-track or cassette, and I got cassette, and when I bought my cassette player, I bought 3 cassette tapes: Hotel California, James Taylor, JT, and Fleetwood Mac, Rumors, and that's all I had. Mm-hmm. And for a year, I think, all I listened to were the 3 albums. So that, back in the day, this is an amazing album.
Yeah, well, I understand that with Rumors. I mean, Rumors I can listen to so many times, and I feel like I pick up something new every time.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
The musicianship is amazing, and the harmonies are incredible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we're going to play. It's hard to choose from this album. I commend you for picking a song, because it would just be so hard for me to pick one song, really.
It was really hard.
So we're going with Never Going Back Again, which is a great choice. So let's listen. Sorry, we got lost in conversation again. So we have 5 minutes left, so it's perfect time, and we have one more song. It's an Eagles song, which is fitting because if my mom's listening out there, it's my mom's favorite band, so it definitely has a tie-in with
Probably
me.
mine too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were saying you just saw the Eagles recently?
Yeah, we just saw the Eagles. Glenn Frey died about a year and a half ago, and his son is playing, and he's really good. But Vince Gill joined them, and he's probably one of the best guitarists I've ever seen, and has an amazing voice. So together, they filled in for Glenn Frey, and they play, and it's a great tribute to them. But I love this song because a lot of people haven't ever heard it. Usually it's a cappella, and the harmonies are absolutely incredible. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So this is called Seven Bridges Road. I have a live version here because we are using Spotify right now. I'm not sure if maybe that's the only version available or what, but it's President approved, so it's fine by me.
Cool.
All right, Titans, it's 4:59. Unfortunately, the show is over. At least this one's over. We'd love to have you back, like I said, so hopefully we can get you back down here sometime, but if you have any closing remarks you want to send off to the Titans for now, then
well, this has been so much fun. I really, really have enjoyed it. But what's great is we've been talking about how music will put you in a place. Now when I hear these songs, I have a new place that it's going to put me in. And I love that because I love being here, and I love Cal State Fullerton, and Titans are amazing. So thank you for this opportunity. It's been really fun, really, really fun.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here. And it's almost a little emotional for me because this is actually my last day as general manager for the station. Yeah, I got a different job offer, so this is my last broadcast too. So
congratulations.
Thank you so much. So this has been a great way to end it.
Yeah, it was a pleasure.
Thank you so much, Titans, for listening in, and please check us out, titanradio.org. Of course, you're listening now, so you probably know how to get there, but check us out. Come down to the basement of Public Library and come say hi. Come say hi sometime. Have a great day.
Go Titans.
Go Titans.